had the room he needed to work with, but him going to 5 just forced the ride up, which just put him in a bad situation off bat, right? Because whoever gets first stride in this matchup has very strong likelihood of just taking the game because their first strides are both so volatile. And I believe Erick won the die roll, so he's most likely taking first, just to get that extra pressure, get the first grade 2 turn. It's very important. And I'm not sure if he chose to keep or if he just hasn't decided yet, but okay, so he looks like he's putting 2 back.
Yep.
Did not clearly see what it was, but
Yeah, I don't think that both players were satisfied with the putback. I mean, we see it every now and then that you can't always get what you want.
True. Honestly, in my eyes, as long as I see my my quote unquote ride line, my 1, 2s, and 3s, I can figure everything else out as I go.
It's always the basic point. As long as you get your ride targets.
Yeah. Which, I mean, kudos to Erick for last round. He whiffed a G assist and still managed to get an advantage and keep that advantage, right? He didn't.
So we do see that Marshal was playing the new Juggernaut Maximum. So
True.
I'm gonna look up the card so I don't miss what it does because I was originally going to play
I have not read this card. No one at our locals plays spikes, really, so. And we do see the Eunice right up for grade 1, so Marshal will have to be careful with the fullback.
So Juggernaut Maximum at the beginning of each main phase, it works on both the opponent's turn and your turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3, to end the turn, this unit gets all of your units that were placed that turn get 5k power and 5k shield. So a good thing to note is that if Marshal really wanted to and he was in a situation where he just needed to tuck stuff and be very defensive, when you place a card on the Guardian Circle, it is considered to be placed, so then the effect will go off.
Yeah.
So that he turns dead cards in his hand into 5k shields. It also turns your heal guards into 20k.
Yeah, which we did see a critical from Zurita on his grade 1 turn, so that is extra pressure already on Marshal, going to 2 on the first swing of the game.
Yep. And then the second effect of Juggernaut Maximum is auto once per turn. At the end of battle, this unit attacked. If 4 or more units were placed this turn, Soul Blast 3, choose a column, you stand all the columns, you stand all the units in that column, and then if you stood this unit for it, it gets drive -1, and then at end of turn, you put all your rear guards at the bottom of deck in any order.
And we do see he did opt to not obviously call the fullback because Erick got his Eunice right up.
Yep.
If he had chosen to call the fullback, it would have been retired deck's turn the moment he rode up. So that is, very clear matchup knowledge, understanding of what Jewel Knights can do. Because a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that she has a second effect. She does not just draw a card.
A lot of people don't realize that it has when placed on.
Yeah. Well, I've run into several people who knew that she could draw a card. Oh no, we have another G assist. We saw it. It did not whip. I see the symbol there, which it is our best grade 2.
Yeah.
That's something.
Well, at least, Erick did get to go second, so he is going to be getting rid of the quick shield.
Yeah, well, he has an easy drop too that actually reverse.
Yeah.
It does not do anything in this matchup. So it is a very, very easy to just say, I'm really not losing anything in this cases, right? We get the Eunice, we get the extra draw. So we kind of just ended up staying even, because we lost the quick shield, which is fine, and we lost the Ashley reverse, which is nothing in this matchup, but then we +1 on the Eunice turn, or the Eunice right up. So overall, we just kind of stayed even. And it looks like he's not, extending or doing anything too crazy. He's just going for the Vanguard swing. No trigger, unfortunately, but he does see the Christine, which could be very important for any further grade 2 or grade 2 turns. Sorry. My question here. Zurita is at 2, Marshal's at 3. How much does he choose to push here, right? And I think, honestly, with the weak grade 2 turn that we just saw from Zurita, pushing an advantage here is should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
especially because he is at 3 versus Zurita at 2, so he cannot heal until he takes a damage. So he's taking a moment to read the card. Very important, read the cards.
It is very funny that he has all 3 of the counter chargers in his drop, so...
He had them on field too. He just called over them. He's like, I don't need these.
So if you haven't played against Spike Brothers G guards, all of them do say that they do put stuff back. So I do think that at some point that this card also does put stuff back, but
and it goes to soul. It clears the board too. We did see the plus 10 till end of turn heal guardian from Zurita. So at this point, Marshal is swinging for effects here. Get the card draws, get them into soul. We lost our push there because the heal guardian came out again. But in this case, I'm not sure what he has in hand. So I don't know how much he can push. And I feel like giving another turn of kind of nothing is just a bad idea, right? It's just a disadvantage. It might be a case where maybe he does right up here. We don't know. I'm not sure what's in his hand, so I'm not really sure what his total thought process here is. Looks like he's choosing to stay on grade 2. Okay, but he does have the Sword Me, so he does have extenders this time. In this case, he can go grab a grade 1 Jewel Knight. Looks like it's going to be the Eunice, so he's going for value, not necessarily pushing too hard. Unless he does have a Christine in here, we know from the last drive check, so he may be choosing to use that. If he has the cost, he may not. He is using a Christine. So in this case, he'll reveal his Ashley in hand and go get another Ashley. So I'm not sure if that Sword Me was the top deck, or maybe if it was the draw off the Sybil last time, or why he didn't use it. So he must not have had it this turn, but he did this turn, and that's what's important. So we are going to see the push here, and he has the Miranda too, which means he's going to get a counter charge here.
Yep. So we do see a defensive coming down for Marshal.
I believe it was a heal too, which is nice to see. If it was,
no, it was
nice
a crit.
Was it a crit?
Yeah.
It's very hard to tell with the glare.
Oh yeah. That's why I tried to catch it as soon as it gets revealed.
Yeah. So we're gonna pop our Ashley skill here. Simple call over Miranda, and we get a counter charge. So we really didn't. We didn't have to burn much. The question is going to be if he chooses the full extension play, which is okay. So he chooses the crit trigger.
So we also do see that Marshal did put a heal guard on the Davy. So Davy right now is 30k for a defensive.
So there's not too much he can do. So the crit trigger is a Jewel Knight name, so he is allowed to search it off Ashley. He gets the counter charge from Miranda, and the important thing of that crit trigger is that it's going to give him a +1 at the end of turn and shuffle itself.
Yep.
So it's free, right? Because he can simply choose to do that skill before resolving the Pristine, and he keeps the 3 Jewel Knight rearguard restriction alive. So we get the Eunice, bounce, and soul charge. Like we see there, we choose to do the critical trigger first, so it sees other Jewel Knights, and then we resolve the Pristine skill and bounce the Ashley to hand. Very straightforward, just turn priority stuff that Jewel Knights gets to abuse. And it looks like he discards a Salem for the Pristine skill, which at this point is pretty much the only option because you don't want to keep dead cards in hand. You have no grade 2s for your intercept G card. You did not hit many triggers there, so your shield value is probably not super big. You don't want those dead cards.
So we do see that Marshal here is riding up, and he chose to give. So he chose to give the Vanguard both of them. And if people don't know what the Dead Heat Bull Spike does, the Bull Spike is able to move your force markers around. Mm-hmm. So whenever it attacks, it's going to move the force markers to certain other rear guards that it wants to, which I do assume it's going to move to the Juggernaut maximum.
Most likely.
Yeah, because that one, he isn't... that column right now is only 21.
You can see Erick's face as he's reading that card.
Just what?
Man, this card's nuts.
Yeah. So a good thing to note is that Rising Nova does copy grade 3s, and they have to be grade 3s that are on the board. So he's going to be copying the Juggernaut Maximum and the Dead Heat Bow Spike. So no matter what, he's going to be moving these force markers around, and then he's going to be able to get the Juggernaut Maximum's effect.
Yeah. Now the one thing here though is I think he's in the same situation. I think that's why he chose to ride. He's at 5, but this time he's at 2. There's an errata on Juggernaut.
We're waiting on the errata.
Okay. So apparently there is an errata on Juggernaut, so we are currently waiting to hear on that ruling
So
and
we are going to
what
look
it is.
at
So we
it
need to double check on that. I was not aware of an errata on Juggernaut. So the correct wording for Juggernaut is if 4 more of your rear guards were placed in this
not
turn,
units.
Not units.
Okay.
So that is the errata on Juggernaut for those unaware. Thank you.
So I do think that it just clears something up, because it would be kind of broken that if you were able to, have a superior stride or anything, and you'd be able to hey, that's another unit that's being.
That is fair. Although in the current state, I don't know if they have access to something like that. I don't know.
No.
It could be a future proof.
Yep.
Which would make sense.
We do want to point out, though, that both the Juggernaut Maximum and the Dead Heat Bow Spike do have Vanguard effects, so the only thing that is using Bow Spike's effect is Rising Nova.
Yeah. Now, we did see a heal defensive on the first damage, so Zurita sitting at a nice 20k right now definitely makes the rest of the turn easier. Especially if he does have an active card in hand.
So his attack is going for 28 2 damage, I do believe.
I think so. I believe that triggers 5.
Yeah. Because I do believe that the Juggernaut Maximum's effect did not go off, because he only called to
drop another +10 on the turn, putting him at a 30 for the turn, a
45
for this attack. So we'll see what else he chooses to drop on the support.
So currently, right now, this is 2 to pass. 20k specifically to pass.
Yeah, it's specifically 2 tens. So it looks like we're raising it to an OT, or 3 technically, but in this case, OT gets to 3.
Yep.
Pretty safe move, just banking on there not being over-triggered. You can't really always play around the over-trigger being a thing. But the sitting at a nice 30k definitely makes first turn much easier to guard.
So we are using Juggernaut Maximum's effect to be able to restand a column.
Yep, and he chooses to restand the Vanguard column.
And this is getting drive -1. Oh, so he did. He called the trigger. So I do think that the trigger
is how he got the 4th unit.
So we are
Another
making
unit
this,
guard,
yes.
Which he gave the 2, so I believe he is a -2 crit on this one.
Yeah.
Which is, it's the safer play. At worst, you take 1 damage. Unless he hits OT.
So -2 crit. So right now the Rising Nova has 0 damage. There you go. So he did have to hit a crit to at least do it.
With 1 drive at worst, he took 1 damage.
Yep. So we are going to move our markers over here.
Mm-hmm. Which is, honestly, it's a very cool mechanic. I think it's very unique, very interesting. And it's not like it doesn't really catch you off. It's telegraphed, right? So it's coming, so it's not too bad.
So we are going to see that Erick elects to go to 5.
Yes, so going to 5 in this situation, he knows he's going to get first stride. He gets 4 open CB. But, honestly, probably the most important thing is him going to 5 while Marshal is at 4 means that he cannot heal on 5. So he is forced to heal on 6 or hit a defensive OT in order pretty much to survive the turn. In this case, we do get the Ashley ride up as well with not as much soul as last game, but still plenty of soul to make something work here. He still has, I believe, Unisys in hand that he can get some soul charge, get the lilies out, get more soul charge. He should be fine here. Yeah, and with the new grade 1, I honestly forgot that she's just a rest now instead of the old one being a counterblast.
Yeah.
So we get to put our Christine back in deck, which is extension, and we soul charge. Luckily, didn't hit a crit or trigger there. So at that point, we're just deck thinning. We get 2 more. Man, he has had the 3 Ashley play every game. It's perfect. It's almost like the Christine set it up. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's almost like that the Christine is able to get it on will.
It's almost like the deck is crazy consistent. I don't know.
Yep.
and we saw the Eunice off of the grade 1 call over, which is even more real estate here. Yeah, so we call over the PG. We empty our hand at this point, right? Because it's all or nothing.
Yeah. I do believe that these turns are all or nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I heard it, but...
Well, and it's fine, too, because he's on Ashley, so he does not care about his hand right now.
So I think they extended the time for the round because I do see 5 minutes left.
Yeah, we're currently 5 minutes left. I think we started the timer a little bit early.
Did we? Who knows?
It's possible. We're currently 5 minutes left in the round, so we have enough time to finish this game.
So obviously, I do think that this is going to be Erick's last turn, and I do think that if Marshal is able to survive, that then that's going to be his.
He's checking right now to see where all his units is, so he knows what he can search. Because that's very important, right? You don't want to have in your mind what kind of extension you're going to make. Go to search for it, and then it's not. Because then you kind of have to ad-lib your plays at some point. You don't want to be in that position. So we start with a small 13 because we can't. We're just eating a card from hand, right? Because we only need to deal 2 damage. And we're immediately going to get our extension off this. Most likely, I'm assuming he's going to grab a Lele or a Miranda. I think the Lele is the a little more consistent. Now, if he wants to go for more extension, he can do a Sybil because it'll soul charge him 1, and he could hit another swing. But it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Which, at a point like this, I think with the lead that you have, me personally, the way I would go with something.
I forgot that Erick's looking through his deck. I was like, man, his hand is very massive for being this late.
Nah, he's going for the deck. I think he's taking extra time to see what was in it to make sure he knows what he has, and he does choose to go with the Sybil. So we get another 17 K attack. You know, nothing too crazy, but it is a card from hand. The important thing with the Sybil is that it gives us the chance of seeing a free extension.
Yeah.
And I believe what he was doing probably was going through his deck and seeing what his odds are, you know, what his Jewel Knights to crit ratio, or Jewel Knights to trigger ratio was to see what he gets.
So we are seeing the new G-Guard, which what it does is it's able to put back. I'm going to bring that up because I do not want to get it wrong, but I do believe that it is you put back up to 3.
I believe, yeah.
And the card gets shield based on what you put back. And then if you put back a grade 3, I do think that you draw a card.
Nothing too crazy. It gives him the cost back, basically. You know, you're dropping a card for G-Guard, but you're getting more shield back.
Yeah.
So very, very clearly guards the attack because it was only a 23k. We're now getting the Lele over the Sybil, so we'll see if we get the free extension here. It doesn't really matter if we do or don't, because we have our Vanguard Ashley, and we do hit a grade 2. So we just simply call the Swordman and get our free extension. And if he wants to, because we have 3 CB, he might very well just pop our Swordman skill, get another booster on the other side, and we can make that one.
So yes, correct. What I did say for the G-Guard is correct. So on place of Guardian Circle, you CB1 and then...
I see what he did. He did not CB for the Swordman skill, he CB for Ashley's skill. He wants that other column to be lethal because he cannot heal on 5. So the Ashley skill, when you call over her, is a counter blast 1, you give the unit a crit. So he's chosen to make that well, he went to damage anyway, so he's at 5. So it's lethal either way now. But the idea is you make the 1 column lethal because he can't heal at 5. And it's a 28k.
And I do think that
27k, sorry.
I do think that Marshal saw that he did counterblast for it, so he did want to just take the 1 damage now.
Correct, yeah, because he has to guard that other column. So the idea there is if the other column's lethal anyway, you may as well take the one that's harder. That is just the 1 damage, right?
Yep.
In this case, we're going to get our unit skill, we're going to bounce it, and now we're going to our Vanguard. So the Vanguard is going to give us more board, more extensions.
So we're going to see that it's OT to pass right now.
This has been gentlemen's games of Vanguard back and forth.
So we have 1, 2,
Draw
we do hit a
PG.
draw.
That helps.
And 3.
Another draw PG, getting a nice hand. Now,
Erick says that if I don't win this turn, at least I can PG or
the
attack.
problem here is I don't know what he's put back or what he's drawn, so the question is, does he have more extenders left in the deck? We know he's put some back, but then the deck also gets shuffled, so I don't know if he just drew something that he put back. You know, you never know with those draw PGs, they can be a little scary sometimes. However, because of turn priority, he can choose to do the units go first and guarantee that he can put back one of those extenders before he goes and searches.
Yeah.
So in this case...
So he did elect to put the Ashley back.
Yeah, I see the Ashley in deck. It was on the bottom. The question is, does he have a Christine to extend with it?
So I do think that he's just going to go for more of power than anything.
I think I saw a Christine in the deck, so it does have the option for extending. I think at this point, with your opponent at 5, you kind of want to push for it because he can get the soul to do another extension if he does. The Layla is going to put back, she could put back another Christine and another Ashley. So she sets up another extension.
So we are going to see Miranda and we do see a Lele being confirmed though.
Yeah, I think the Lele should be 100% to play here because you want to put 2 things back.
All right, so we do see a sword
So we're going to get another 27k column.
Yep. We are going to save a little bit of time with counterblasting and getting a Jewel Knight, a grade 1 specific Jewel Knight.
At this point, we did go to time, so it does make sense to just do these shortcuts. There's no sense in shuffling the deck when you're going to go back into it.
And Erick is turn 0 right now.
Correct. So we see we get another 27k column on the sword B side. I don't believe Marshal hit a defensive on his 1 damage, so the relay alone hits at 15k.
Yeah.
So it is still a card from hand, and he only has the 1 in hand, so he does have to take it. And Erick Zurita will take round 1. Man, those top
So we do see that Jewel Knights does take down Spike Brothers. It's sad to see that we had to have a team kill already this early.
We did have an early team kill.
But you know, we do should expect it because we are at a tournament with the top level of players. Mm-hmm. All of these people didn't get their invites just on a whim. Everybody hard earned during the season.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And this matchup, is a very volatile matchup. They're going back and forth a lot of aggression, a lot of just early push, trying to control the pace of the game. And despite the G assists, Erick managed to get that control in his favor and keep it that way. And we should, because we're in time, we might be going to
into round 2 already. I know I do see that we have a few games still going on. We have about 2 in front of us. So we are waiting for them.
Yeah, so at this point, we will probably be coming back once round 2 officially starts.
We can go ahead and bring Erick over here and talk about how he felt after the for game 2 and game 3.
We could do that. We could do a little quick player.
Yeah, we can have you talk to him with your Jewel Knight expertise.
I'll give this.
Huh?
I'll give you that.
All right, so we'll be right back. Bring Erick over here.